63. My husband is 60. We've been married 36 years, and most of our marriage has been full of debt.
My wedding cost a little under $80,000.
We spent $1,800 on our cake. Nobody ate it, including ourselves.
We are going to end up spending $90,000 to $100,000.
The wedding industry has managed to convince an entire generation that love isn't real unless you spend 30 grand proving it. And now 77% of newlyweds are in debt. Half of them regret it. And the last couple you're gonna see has been drowning in it for 36 years straight.
4 things I regret spending money on for my wedding. Don't make my same mistakes. Matching bridesmaids' pajamas. 2 main reasons. 1, you will do nothing with these photos. 2, not everyone will feel comfortable in them, and it's impossible that you find one that flatters everybody. Wedding cake. We spent $1,800 on our cake. Nobody ate it, including ourselves. I've seen people say this in thousands of TikTok. They're right, don't spend money on it. Menus and programs, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I actually think the menus took away from our table decor. Skip it or spend $15 on Etsy and get them printed at Staples. Number 4, flowers down the aisle. Spend that money towards a cooler altar. I actually find that flowers down the aisle are kind of a distraction. We had them and they were totally unnecessary.
Why would you spend $1,800 on a wedding cake? Even if people ate it, it still wouldn't make sense unless you come from generational wealth or something. But the fact that nobody even touched it makes it so much worse. You're spending hundreds of dollars on paper that's going straight in the bin. That's the problem with weddings. You're paying for things that make you feel good for 5 minutes and mean nothing to anyone else. Diana said, I regret spending money on my entire wedding because I'm now divorced. And honestly, that might be the most real comment in this clip. Now real quick, if you're new here, I'm Kingsley and this is where we break down real money moments together. So if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so more of these videos show up in your feed.
When you go to a store and you say, oh my God, I love this flower. It's so beautiful. How much is it? They're going to say, oh girl, that's only $20. And you say, okay, great. I'm going to get it. And let's say 2 weeks later, a new girl goes into that same store and sees that same flower. And she says, oh my God, I love this flower. It's so beautiful. Wow. Oh my God, what's it for? Oh, it's for my wedding. Oh, it's $2,000. Why does $20 flower just turn into $2,000? The same doggone flower from the same doggone store. I don't like it. I don't like it and I don't appreciate it. And I feel like I'm about to start saying I'm having a baby shower so people act right.
How do you go from $20 to $2,000 just because you said the word wedding? It's the same flowers, same stems, same dirt they grew in, but now it costs 100 times more because it's sitting on a table at a reception instead of your kitchen. And this is exactly how 67% of newlyweds end up in debt. It's because everything gets marked up the second you mention a wedding, and there's nothing you can do about it. Somebody in the comments said, honestly, anytime I purchase any type of floral arrangement, I say it's for a funeral. And at this point, that might genuinely be the smartest financial advice out there.
Saw this video earlier today about this guy who took a £40,000 loan to pay for his wedding and his wife never knew about it and she left him 3 years later. You know what the sad part about this is that this is the reality of a lot of young people, bro. They have these big extravagant weddings with the nice cars, the rentals, the nice venue, to be left in crippling debt afterwards to impress people that don't even care about you in the first place. This is why I always recommend it's good to have a nice and small wedding and save that money afterwards. Bro went into debt for a wedding that didn't even last, bro. Imagine how many years he's gonna be paying that debt off. Imagine you got student loan, now you got this debt, and imagine you had a mortgage as well, bro. You're literally crippled in debt now.
Why would you take out a £40,000 loan and not even tell your wife about it? That's not a wedding, that's a secret you're gonna be paying off every month for years. And then she left him 3 years later. So now the marriage is done. The photos are in a box somewhere and that loan is still sitting on his credit report like nothing happened. He said it himself, to impress people that don't even care about you in the first place. And that's the part nobody wants to hear, because half the time you're not spending that money for you, you're spending it for the guest list. Would you tell your partner if you went into debt for the wedding? Type Y for yes in the comments and N for no.
I'm going to tell y'all the things that I regret about my wedding, the things that I wish I would have done differently, and the things that I'm happy about. I regret booking a ginormous venue. We were expecting about 100 friends and family to show up, and only 25 did. We could have saved a lot of money had we not booked a big all-inclusive venue. I highly recommend having a small wedding. If I could go back and do it again, the RSVP would be strictly enforced. And if you didn't RSVP, you wouldn't be allowed at the wedding. We also wasted about $5,000 on our catering service because we paid for 120 appetizers, 120 entrees, and 120 desserts, which also included feeding the staff at our wedding. When only 25 people showed up, the rest of that food was wasted. We did not get sent home with anything.
Imagine paying for 100 plates and only 25 people show up. That's 75 empty chairs at your wedding. Thousands of dollars of food just sitting there. And you're looking around the room wondering where everybody went. And the worst part is the caterers not refunding you. They don't care that your friend ghosted. That bill is still yours. You ever think about how embarrassing that must feel? Like you invited 100 people to celebrate with you and 70 of them just said, nah. Chelsea said, I had a small wedding and still regret it because barely anyone came. So you can't even win the other way. Go big and you waste money. Go small and it still hurts. There's no version of this where it works out clean.
I know you guys love wedding content, but I gotta share the bad as well as the good because my lord, have I learned the true meaning of wedding tax. We'll get a photographer for the day. We'll probably need them for 4 hours tops. Tell me why. When I was inquiring with some of these wedding photographers, one of them quoted me $9.5 grand minimum. Her most expensive package was £13,500 for the day, just for one photographer. Okay, tell me why a pizza party is €105 per person. We're getting married in Italy, the home of pizza, and you're charging €100 per person to eat said pizza. It's like charging people £100 per head to have fish and chips. Bearing in mind, our Italian wedding is 35 people tops. They said, okay, if you want an ice cream truck, £3.5 grand. You think my guests, all 35 of them, are gonna eat £3.5 grand worth of ice cream?
£13,500 for a photographer. Photography is a skill, but that's more than what some people take home in months, and it's just for one day. And then she said €105 per person for pizza, not a 5-course meal, not lobsters, pizza. How do you charge someone €105 for pizza and keep a straight face? Or is it just taking advantage of you because they know you wouldn't say no on your wedding day? Somebody named Habs said, at that price, I'd just hire my local ice cream van. And honestly, the ice cream van might be the better deal. The costs are one thing, but the next few clips are where the real regrets kicks in. People who actually paid these prices and what happened after.
If there is one financial regret I have in my almost 30 years of living, it would be spending $30,000 on a wedding. The wedding industry has all of us girlies in a chokehold, making us feel like we need to prove something to everyone around us and have this massive, expensive, beautiful wedding. I fell under that and became brainwashed and went from eloping and having something casual and under $5K to having this $30K wedding in San Francisco with only 50 people. At the end of the day, I look back at this and I think about how much of that money I could have used for something so much more valuable, like a honeymoon, investing, paying for our businesses that we're trying to grow, anything. I know it's wedding season right now and I just want to put this out into the universe, and if you're seeing this, it's probably a sign.
Now this is someone who makes content about money for a living, and even she couldn't avoid it. Her biggest financial regret is her $30,000 wedding, and she said she should have just eloped. If someone whose whole thing is financial literacy still fell into the wedding hangover, what does that tell you about the rest of us? And she's not saying she regrets getting married. She's saying she regrets the party. The $30,000 event just wasn't. Now let's read the comments. One person said, I spent $2,500 on a micro wedding, no drama, and started a new marriage stress-free. And somebody else said, spent $40K, never again. We did a vow renewal in Vegas. If you could do it over, would you do the big wedding again, or would you just elope? Drop it in the comments.
My wedding cost a little under $80,000, and if you asked anyone who got married in a luxury market, they will tell you their numbers were similar. The reason I shared that is because this is not normal. Weddings are so expensive and people have no idea how expensive they are, so I was just transparent about the pricing. Then we got our actual vendor quotes, and I'm not gonna lie, I went into a full-blown panic spiral. This was with about 8 months of wedding planning left to go. I was like, there's no way we're gonna be able to afford to do this, but we got into action mode. My husband and I both got second jobs. We were both working between 50 and 60 hours a week. We got married in the Napa Valley. I was quoted $30,000 for catering. So it ain't cheap. No, I don't regret it. Yes, it was an amazing time. But now that we've drained our accounts and we're trying to save for a house and I'm trying to pay off my student loans, do I regret it? Yes and no. Our wedding day was literally perfect. There are memories I will never forget, but just thinking about that number and conceptualizing it is painful.
$80,000 and she drained everything. And when someone asked her, do you regret it? She said yes and no. That's the most honest answer you're gonna hear in this entire video, because what she was really saying is the day was great, but the aftermath was terrible. And now she's stuck in this weird place where she can't even say it wasn't worth it because it was a wedding day. But she also can't pretend it didn't hurt her financially. That's what the wedding hangover does to you. You trade one perfect day for months of stress, and you can't even complain about it because people will just tell you, well, it's your wedding, it's supposed to be expensive. 42% of divorced couples say credit card debt played a role ending the marriage, and this is where it starts.
Things I regret buying for my 2024 wedding. First, the branded cups, koozies, napkins, all of it. They were not used, not even in any photos. I just wouldn't do it. The getting ready robe, I did not use it, and I could have saved myself some money on that. The disposable cameras, guys, I spent like $1,000 on these because I wanted photos from the guest point of view, and they were forgotten about. The ones I did get were like blurry and bad. It was just, if I could do it again, I would definitely use like a photo app instead, like one of the ones where there's a QR code for you guys to scan and like join the shared album. My friend did this at her wedding last week. She used the app Dots Memories, and it was so easy. They got a lot of great photos, and I wish I would have done it. Okay, I could list so many more things not to spend money on, but a big one for me was my seating chart. I like rented this huge thing with a backdrop, and your guests look at it for 30 seconds. If there's anything you regret buying at your wedding, I'd love to hear. I think the brides could use a little bit of de-influencing.
$1,000 on disposable cameras, and nobody used them. They just sat there on the table the whole night. This is what happens when you plan wedding based on Pinterest interests, because your guests are there to eat, dance, and have a good time, not take pictures on your disposable camera for you. That $1,000 could have gone toward your honeymoon or your first month's rent together, but instead it went toward cameras that are probably still sitting in a box in your closet.
Things I regret spending money on at my wedding, part 2. Okay, now let me explain. The day I started wedding planning, I hired a full-service wedding planner. That means they're there with you from day one all the way to the wedding day. Full service is really expensive, and to me, it didn't feel worth it. Lounge vignettes. Until you start wedding planning, you don't realize how expensive they are. I'd say they run a minimum of $400 to $500 per vignette, and you often want 2 or 3. I probably sound like a broken record, but wedding favors. We did Portuguese olive oil because my dad was born in Portugal and he passed away, so it was to represent him. I loved them, but getting people to take them when they left was impossible. A custom card box. We spent a lot of money on an acrylic card box with our names on it. We have no use for it anymore. It's in our basement.
So part 2, and it's still the same story. Money spent on little details that not a single guest noticed. And you have to ask yourself, who are you buying this stuff for? Because your guests didn't come up to you and say, OMG, the favors were amazing. They left them on the table and went home, and the venue threw them in the trash at the end of the night. Let's read the comments. A wedding DJ named Josh said, as a wedding DJ, I see a lot of mistakes that people make, and wedding favors are definitely at the top of my do not buy list. When the guy who walks at weddings every single weekend telling you not to buy them, maybe you should listen.
In November, and despite all the budget cuts we tried to make, we still ended up having about a $40,000 wedding. I'm sharing what I learned along the way so that the same thing doesn't happen to you, because there's not enough transparency in the wedding industry. Typically, the first thing you look for is a venue, and the cheapest venue that I could find was $8,000 with absolutely nothing included. That was just the space that we were renting out. It's possible, reached out to friends who had gotten married, and I wasn't finding anything other than that one that was even under $10,000. Unfortunately, because the wedding industry is so huge, if you're looking to have a traditional wedding, which is often going to include a venue, whether you're doing the ceremony there or just the reception, it's expensive. The venue that we ended up settling on was $12,700, and that included so many things. All the decor, tables, linens, chairs, plates, silverware, cups. There were also just so many hidden costs that I didn't know to expect because I hadn't planned an event before, let alone a wedding. To help other people avoid these costs,
now this is the one that should worry you more than any other clip in this video. She actually tried to be smart about it. She has a budget, she cuts things out, she made sacrifices, and it still ended up at $40,000. The people who spent $80K, you can say they went overboard, but when somebody who's actively trying to save money still ends up at 40 grand, that means something is wrong somewhere. The average wedding in the US just hit $33,900, up 9% from last year. Somebody in Kansas said, babe, my venue is $250. I'm in Kansas, thank God. And honestly, moving to Kansas might be the real answer here.
Guys, serious question. What are you supposed to do with your wedding dress after you get divorced? So like, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm here cleaning this house out. Do I just donate it? That's like probably what I'll do. I want to save it for my kids because I feel like it has bad juju attached to it. Maybe if a random person wore it, then it won't have bad juju. I don't know.
What do you even do with your wedding dress after a divorce? You spent $1,000 on something you wore for a few hours, and now it's just sitting in the back of your closet, reminding you of something that didn't work out. Nobody talks about this part. The wedding industry is really good at selling you the fairy tale, but they never mention what happens to all that stuff when the fairy tale ends. Bella said, I wore mine for Halloween last year, told everybody I was a clown. It's funny and sad at the same time. And then Sarah Fox said, check with your local NICU to see if they have an angel gown program. This program takes donated wedding dresses and makes special gowns for stillborns. Now, I wasn't expecting that one at all.
If you're a bridesmaid, the bride is asking people to spend thousands of dollars on a bachelorette. You're not the only bridesmaid thinking this is pretty exorbitant.
Totally.
So then there might also need to be a conversation with the bride of like, hey, you're asking a lot from people right now. I'm saying this as a bride. I don't think that your wedding is an excuse to not be considerate of like your friends' finances when you're trying to plan.
That's what happens when you start expecting your friends to spend money they don't have on your day. They're not gonna argue with you. They're just gonna go silent and figure out how to say no without saying no. And honestly, when did a night out with your girls turn into a 4-day destination trip that costs more than your rent?
I'm 63. My husband is 60. We've been married 36 years, and most of our marriage has been full of debt. Right now, we have about $44,000 in credit card debt. We have an $800 truck payment, $200,000 between the two of us in student loans. We have no retirement whatsoever except our home.
Help me with how you have $200,000 in student loans at 64 years old.
Oh, we're late bloomers. My husband felt the need to go and get 2 master's degrees. He's a teacher, and I'm a teacher. We got a late start, probably in our mid-50s.
So what are your incomes between the two of you with these degrees and these careers?
So between the both of us, I added it up, take home only is $5,635 a month.
Okay.
Wait a minute, you make $60,000, you make $30,000 a piece, and he has 2 master's degrees?
What is it before that? Are you taking a bunch out of your check?
Well, for the credit card debt, I don't even know how much it's taking out of that.
It's doing it automatically?
Oh, you're paying the truck payment and the credit card debt, and you're putting money in retirement, and you got all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And you're getting a tax refund too, probably.
Right.
Okay, so you might be making $120. So what do you owe on the truck?
Right. About $34,000, which
Sell
is
it.
about what it's worth.
Oh, yeah, sell that today.
Sell it.
That's the problem. I don't think my husband's willing to sell it.
Does he feel that you guys have a financial problem?
I've kind of hidden it from him, so that's my fault.
This is what it looks like 36 years later when the debt never stops. 63 years old, $44,000 in credit card debt, $200,000 in student loans, no retirement, and she's been hiding it from her husband the entire time. They've been married 36 years and she's still keeping secrets about money. And I know this clip is about more than just wedding spendings, but that's the whole point. It starts with the wedding and it never stops, because once you set the tone that debt is okay, it just keeps going and going until you're in your 60s with nothing saved. And this couple is proof of that.
Wedding cost transparency, let's get into it. So it took a lot for me to even muster up the courage to make this video, because a lot of the times I even find myself thinking, you're paying how much? For what? So here's what I'm spending on my major vendors for my June 2025 wedding in Southern California for a guest count of 200. Venue, food, and bar, these are all lumped together, $46,000 for that. Planner, about $3,000. Photographer, $5,600. Videographer, $4,800. Content creator, $850. Florist, right now, about $11,700. DJ, MC, $4,000. Photo booth, $1,250. Hair and makeup, you add in how much I spent on my dress, alterations, bridal accessories, how much my fiance spent on his tux, all of the other little things that go into planning a wedding. All in, we are going to end up spending $90,000 to $100,000. Please be kind to me.
$46,000 just for the venue, food, and bar. $11,700 for flowers. And the total cost comes out somewhere between $90,000 and $100,000 for one wedding in Southern California. And the part that got me is when she said, please be nice to me. She's saying it out loud that it's absurd, but she still paid it because the industry made her feel like that's what a wedding's supposed to cost. And that's what this whole thing does to people. It takes your money and your confidence, because now you can't even talk about what you spend without apologizing to strangers. Ellie said, I feel like I'm more conscious to know how y'all actually pay for this stuff. Like, do your parents help? Are y'all well off? Taking out loans for this? Now look, 67% of couples go into debt for the wedding. More than half regret what they spent, and 16% have thoughts about divorce because of money. The wedding industry made everyone believe that if you don't spend 30 grand on one day, your love isn't real. And the people in this video are what happens when you actually believe that. And if this video made you think even a little bit different about that, then it did its job. Now tell me, which clip hits you the hardest? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Subscribe to stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.